Let's talk education. It's 15 minutes of information about the policies, programs, and activities of our schools and the Ministry of Education. Join us and let's talk education.
Good day, viewers. Welcome to Let's Talk Education. Our special guest today is Mrs. Cyrillia Lewis, our Student Welfare Coordinator in the Ministry of Education. Mrs. Lewis, welcome.
Thank you very much, Patricia, and good day to everyone.
Mrs. Lewis, our first question. As a Student Welfare Coordinator, what does your work entail?
Okay, as a Student Welfare Coordinator, I oversee the running of the book bursary programs and the school feeding programs.
What are some of the other welfare programs initiated by the ministry to assist students and parents?
Okay, within the Ministry of Education, we have the counseling coordinator. She's located within my unit too. We have the coordinator for special education. We also have the Mr. Tutuyut, who works with student support services.
What is the intention of each of these programs, especially those that you oversee?
Okay, well, the whole outlook on these specific programs is to assist those who cannot help themselves. This is the focus of the Ministry of Education, to ensure that every child gets an education and gets the assistance whatever area that is needed. So with me, I do the school feeding program where we ensure that every child attending the infant or the primary school gets a hot meal at lunchtime, gets something to eat so that they can concentrate and work. For the book bursary program, I ensure that children again at primary schools, they receive the textbooks that they need so that they can attend school. And within the secondary schools, we have the textbook rental program. Again, children get books from the textbook rental program so that they can attend school and do their schoolwork.
How do students and parents go about assessing these programs?
Okay, at the end of each school year, when the students come, they renew their contracts with us, where the textbook rental and book bursaries are concerned. We follow their progress, their academic progress. Parents can see the children's academic progress also by looking at the children report books and going to the children's schools, liaising with the teachers, the children's teachers, and the principals of the school. Now, with the school feeding program, you could see that the child is more alert because the child is not hungry. The child can study. The child can attend to classwork, and the child is not always sick and whimpering. So that is a positive sign where the school feeding program is concerned.
Actually, recently, we are trying to initiate where schools are now going to give both breakfast and lunch. And as you know, breakfast is one of the most important meals. What do you have to say with respect to the breakfast initiation that the ministry is looking at?
I think the breakfast program is a very good program because we know that breakfast is the first meal of the day. We are trying to break the fast for the long night of sleep. Breakfast is a very important meal. And if you have a very good breakfast, you can snack at lunchtime.
Yes.
You could snack at lunchtime and then you have something heavier later. I think the breakfast program is a very good program, but with it will complement the lunch program also.
Thank you, Mrs. Lewis. What would cause a student or even a parent to be removed from such a program?
For the textbooks, where we have a contract that is signed, okay, we sometimes read it to the parent if we realize that the parent cannot read. We read it, we explain it to the parent. We ask them to make sure that the books are well taken care of, the books are covered, and those textbooks that they have to return to us are returned to us in a good way, that we can loan them to somebody else. The books are not lost, etc. So generally, parents return the textbooks that they have to return to us so that they can continue. If they lose the textbooks, that students lose the textbooks, or they damage them to a certain extent that we cannot reuse them, we ask them to replace the textbook. We try, we don't just knock them off the program. We try to encourage them because our whole focus is to ensure that the child gets an education. It doesn't make any sense to deprive the child the textbooks, and then the child cannot go to school.
Yes.
So we talk to them, we encourage them to take care of the textbooks and to ensure that they return the textbooks in a good way, that we can reuse them. If the textbooks are damaged or lost, they return they provide a new book to replace it.
Do you foresee a lot of challenges in that area, especially with parents that might not take the responsibility of taking care of those textbooks?
Well, so far we have not encountered many problems at all, to say problems that we definitely need to take children off the program. I find the parents are quite responsible, and the children themselves, they are quite responsible too, because sometimes we speak to the children directly and we explain to them the whole focus of the program. So generally they accept it and they do take care of the textbooks.
Considering that our population is growing, do you see that the program, the students who really want to be part of that program, are the numbers increasing?
Yeah, the numbers have increased dramatically. At both the primary and the secondary schools, the numbers have increased, because you can well understand that buying textbooks now is very costly. So anytime you have a program like that where you do not pay so much for the textbooks that you're getting, and you can return them at the end of the school year, you know, your responsibility is just to take care of the books and make the most out of them.
Thank you so much, Ms. Willis. We are going to take a break right now. Viewers, you're watching Let's Talk Education with our special guest, Mistress Cyrillia Lewis, our Student Welfare Coordinator in the Ministry of Education. We'll be right back.
Let's Talk Education. It's 15 minutes of information about the policies, programs, and activities of our schools and the Ministry of Education. Join us and let's talk education.
Welcome back, viewers, to Let's Talk Education. Our special guest, Mistress Cyrillia Lewis, our Student Welfare Coordinator in the Ministry of Education. Mistress Lewis, upon continuation, when we look at the programs, the students' textbook rental program and the students' school feeding program, are students guaranteed to be in both of those programs?
If the student is attending the primary school or the infant school, the school feeding program is available, as long as the parent speaks with the principal and explains the situation to the principal. Because sometimes you have parents who they cannot afford to buy food, because they're unemployed and they're really in a bad situation when it comes to finance. So the school makes the food available for the child for free. Some parents who can contribute, they will contribute $1 and the child will get a meal at lunchtime.
With regards to the school rental program?
Okay. It is available for everyone. However, they must apply. They must apply, and then the applications are processed at the schools, and the students are told if they're accepted or not within the program.
What are the two main criteria that the ministry would concentrate on with respect to the student school textbook rental program?
Okay, we really want to assist, as I told you from the beginning, students who have parents who cannot afford, they're not employed. So these are the children we really want to target and ensure that these students have the books. Those persons who are employed and they are at minimal wage also, we want to assist these persons. So these programs are available for these persons. If, say, at the end of the school term, or when they look at the applications, books are still available, and other persons who are a little wealthier and they want to participate because they are missing 1 or 2 textbooks, again, the program is available for everyone.
So we are looking at the textbook rental program and the school feeding program. What would, in terms of the contributions, what would you say the ministry is contributing, parents are contributing, or even society on the whole are contributing towards those programs?
Okay, the ministry, for the school feeding program, the Ministry of Education is footing the entire bill. We purchase all the food items and we distribute them to the schools. Okay, that's for the school feeding program. For textbook rental program and the book bursary program in primary schools, the ministry, again, we purchase the textbooks and we make them available for the students.
So with respect to the costing, quite a huge bill.
Oh yes, especially for school feeding program. As we know, food is very expensive. The government of St. Lucia is spending at least almost close to $1 million for purchasing of food for an entire year. You must appreciate that we feed at least 7,500 children yearly.
That is a huge
it is
amount.
increasing, and it is increasing. It is increasing.
Especially with the cost of living, the ministry is actually really doing its best to make sure that our students at least have a meal a day.
Oh, yes.
And that helps them with alertness and actually productivity in schools as well.
Yes, of course, of course.
We know that there are individuals that have received textbooks through the school's textbook rental program. And some of these individuals have deviated from some of the rules and regulations for that particular program, because we see them selling some of those textbooks on the roadside. How do you see we are able to cope with that particular challenge?
This is costing the Ministry of Education and the government of St. Lucia and the taxpayers in St. Lucia quite a lot. We try to purchase the books and try to assist families. And then you have some people who just don't care. They just believe that it's okay for them to sell government's property. They go ahead and they may sell the books, or some of the students, they may not return the books, or sometimes bags are stolen at school, and you find the textbooks are being sold on the street. We want to urge people, do not buy these textbooks. They have stamps, the government stamps on them. These textbooks should not be sold, and they should not be purchased. However, you still find some people trying to remove the stamps by inking them out,
yes,
or even sometimes damaging the textbook. But we are asking people, please, not to buy these textbooks when they see them. Sometimes we collect them. We do collect them, but we are asking persons not to buy these textbooks because they are government property.
And so we are actually telling individuals out there, if someone is selling the textbooks that have the ministry stamp, they should actually inquire to make sure that these books are returned to the ministry.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Thank you so much, Mistress Lewis. Yes. Our last question, how do you see the way forward with respect to the school feeding program? Do you think that our government will be able in the near future to extend it to the secondary schools?
I personally wish that the government would extend it to the secondary schools, because you find that we are feeding the small ones at the primary school, yes, and these are the ones who will write the common entrance and graduate and go into the secondary schools. Sometimes the family situation still exists. When they get into the secondary schools, they are still hungry at 12 o'clock.
Yes.
And they find it very difficult to follow and continue school. If we could organize something in such a way that these children can be fed, it would be good. It would be a plus for us. But however, now there is no school feeding program existing at the secondary schools. However, there are canteens there, yes, and food is being prepared at the school. If we could figure out a way we can use the canteen, and the children who desperately need a meal at lunchtime can be fed, this would be a plus for us. These children would remain in school, and they would attain an education.
Considering that is the age where the school workload, are actually on the continuous increase.
It's true.
So we have to make sure that they are properly fed so, yes, that they could be alert as well.
Yes, there was a time that we had some discussion in relating to a form of school feeding at the secondary schools. However, we have not taken a serious step towards that. I think with the thought of it, and I think that one day we will really look into that, because we understand how important food is for the children and for anybody, especially for children who are going to school. If you are not fed, you cannot learn if you are hungry, and the ministry knows that, and I think that one of the good days we are going to take a serious step on that and try to see how we can feed these children who are in desperate need at the secondary schools.
Mistress Lewis, we are now coming to the end of our program. thank you for coming on our program, Let's Talk Education. Viewers, thank you for viewing Let's Talk Education. Our special guest, Mistress Cyrillia Lewis, our Student Welfare Coordinator in the Ministry of Education. See you at our next Let's Talk Education.